everybody. Yeah, hi, Jen. Hi, Diana. Hi, Sharon. Oh, this is fantastic. Wow, what a great moment. Hi, Jane. Hi, Suni. Hi, Nat. Hi, Anna. Hi, Michael. It's so great to see you all here. Hi, Chris Rob. Hi, Darren. Hi, Gail. So lovely to have you here. Hi, Jude. This is so lovely. It's a celebration of so many special people coming here to celebrate my book launch. Thank you so much for coming. It's really, really great. So I'm just going to take a minute to let everybody else come in. We've got lots of people coming in. Hi, Ali. Hi, Kate Christie. This is so great. Wow. So thank you so much for coming to share in my book launch today. Not only is it a celebration, but I also want to share with you my thoughts around why I wrote the book, what it means to rethink our fashion today. And I have invited some people from the industry to share their thoughts. I've invited some friends to share. And it's going to be really great this morning. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. And just want to let you know that we're recording this. So you will receive a link to the recording after the launch is finished. And this is just so great. Okay, so just one moment. And I am going to share my screen. Okay, awesome. Okay, so can you all just pop a note in the chat box again, just to let me know that you can see the screen? Yes, awesome. Okay, this is great. So I really believe that each of us, we want to be better, we want to do better, and we want to see a better world. And I believe that that's why each of us is here today. I think the title Rethink Your Fashion has really resonated. I think we want to love ourselves more. We want to see the happiness in all the people around the world. We want to see a better world. And at the same time, I think that the world is changing, and I think we recognize this too. And this includes fashion. And I think that we recognize that there needs to be a slowdown in the way that we consume, use, and produce clothing. And we want to be a part of this movement, and that's why we're all here. So thank you so much for coming. So before we dive into this, I just want to tell you a bit about me. Who am I? For those of you who don't know me, who are here today, I've got some people come from LinkedIn to watch this launch, to be part of the launch. So I'm a personal fashion curator, and this means that I'm a stylist and I focus on education. This is predominantly what I do. I work with my clients with a really long-term view on fashion. So this means that my role is to help my clients make better choices with this education, understanding the environment, understanding the people who are, who make the clothes, understanding how our clothes are made, and also helping my clients really love everything that they wear so that they will keep these pieces in their wardrobe as long as possible. So I have always understood the value behind a piece of clothing, and it started when I was a child. And this is a picture of me when I was really little, and this is my mother's yarn that she used to make herself. She used to get bags of wool that had been, like freshly shorn, and I still remember the smell of the lanolin from the sheep when it had been freshly shorn from the sheep. And she used to card this wool and then spin it and then turn it into balls of yarn, And then she had a big loom set up in her living room, and she would weave this yarn into beautiful pieces of fabric, beautiful clothing. And she'd also use this yarn, the balls of wool, and knit some amazing pieces. And it's such a memory for me. And she used to also make her own clothes. And I was so influenced by this, seeing the whole process and understanding the effort that it took to make clothes. And it just really, really inspired me. So as a child, I was always asking questions, and I wanted to know the deeper meaning behind things. You know, I saw the process that was created in clothing, but I also was asking deeper questions. And this led me at a very young age to move to India, which a lot of you know, move to India and study meditation. And I was there for 4 years. And it was really a deeply profound and transformative time. And this video and image is of the area that I used to live in central India. And you can see the picture of the woman with the sari. And the thing about the picture of the woman with the sari is that I remember seeing the women working in the fields near where I lived. And I was so struck by the fact that even though they didn't have much at all, you know, they were given barely cents to live on in a day, and they had so much dignity, so much elegance. Their posture is just incredible, and the way they wrapped their saris and just walked so elegantly really struck me about the, you know, the contrast of you know, the poverty of the area and the way that they held themselves with so much dignity. And you can see here there's a picture also of me. There was as part of where I lived, there was a milk project where people would, where you could go out and give children milk a few times a week, be part of the project. And I just remember the children would sing and they'd wait for you to come along, and then you get the jugs and pour the milk into their cups, and they were so grateful. And they again, you know, they barely had anything, but they were so joyful and so beautiful, and it was really such an amazing time. And so, you know, for me, I lived a really simple existence. It was really focused, really disciplined. There was no movies, no magazines, no television. It was very simple. And the thing about this was that it was one of the most fulfilling times of my life. And that has really stayed with me. So during this time, another thing that really, really inspired me, which is not something you would expect, is the colors and the textures and the fabrics of India and the artisans, and understanding that, you know, pieces that were woven or beaded or created from around India, from the different areas, all had their unique and distinct signature. And there was so much work and that went into them, just like when I was a child and I saw the work that went into the pieces that my mother would make. And I was really inspired by the textures and fabrics and colors of India. And this is when I decided that I wanted to work in fashion. It was just, it came alive in me. And so that's what happened. You know, that's what really set it off for me. And my work in fashion has taken me around the world. It has taken me to New York. And this is a picture of me with the designer Milan Breton in New York. You can see that in the corner of the screen. And this is some video footage of one of his shows. He's the most lovely, gentle, amazing man, hugely creative and passionate, and it was just a fantastic time to work with him. And New York, as you know, is a really dynamic city, so there was a lot to learn and take on board there. And then I also worked in Paris in fashion. So this is where I really, you know, became absorbed in the history of fashion. And I, you know, worked with a high-end designer, highly regarded in the industry. Her name's Sharon Walshaw, another beautiful woman, so dedicated to her craft. And this is one of the shows that we worked on, producing the collection. It was just, it's so great. Again, working with the textures and the fabrics, and at the same time through a hugely demanding timeline, but hugely fulfilling at the same time. So aside from this, you know, over the time of being in fashion, and over my lifetime, a lot has changed, and it's not what it used to be. You know, there's some good changes that have happened in fashion, and there's also some things that are not so good. We've seen the massive growth of fast fashion. We've seen the overproduction of clothing. This overproduction of clothing leads to huge amounts of waste and pollution, not to mention the neglect of basic human rights. The average person is buying more clothes and wearing them for less time. And this leads to clothing being thrown out and either incinerated or sent to landfill. So it's just a massive issue, and it's affecting all areas of the world. On the good side, I have seen brands like Chanel investing in really centuries old artisans and companies, and making sure that their legacy is protected. And artisanship is something that I'm really passionate about. And it's so great to see this happening by not only Chanel, but other brands. That's something really great that's happening. And I've also seen the focus on sustainability and ethical production really taking hold now. People are really becoming aware of being more considered around fashion, and consumers are really getting on board. The industry's getting on board. There's a focus on radical transparency, on accountability, and it's just really wonderful. So we don't normally think about the way that, you know, cotton is taken from the earth, grown in the earth, the way trees are harvested, or the use of chemicals when we go to buy a new dress or a suit. But our clothing is very much comes from nature. It comes from the resources of nature, and the mass production and large scale farming that's happening in the fashion industry is really destroying delicate ecosystems and depleting the finite natural resources of our planet. And these are key to our life on this planet. So someone who is perfect to explain this is our favorite David Attenborough, who blew up Instagram over a month ago, getting over 5 million followers in a week. It was just so awesome to see. And he's really showing his legacy on his Instagram account. So he is the perfect person to tell us about the environment and about these delicate ecosystems. So let's listen to David Attenborough.
Nature, the living world around us, from the tree roots and fungi to songbirds and the great whales. It's easy to forget that we are also a part of nature. Our natural world is so much more than just nice to have. It's fundamental to our survival. Often I find that while people are familiar with the problem of climate change, they know less about the loss of nature that's happening around us. We should be in no doubt. Biodiversity loss, the destruction of nature, is as grave an issue as climate change. They both work together to destabilize the world we rely upon, as I explain in this clip from my new film, A Life on Our Planet. The living world is a unique and spectacular marvel. billions of individuals, of millions of kinds of plants and animals, dazzling in their variety and richness, working together to benefit from the energy of the sun and the minerals of the earth, leading lives that interlock in such a way that they sustain each other. We rely entirely on this finely tuned life support machine, and it relies on its biodiversity to run smoothly. Yet the way we humans live on Earth now is sending biodiversity into a decline. The natural world is fading. The evidence is all around. It's happened in my lifetime. I've seen it with my own eyes. This film is my witness statement and my vision for the future. The story of how we came to make this our greatest mistake, and how, if we act now, we can yet put it right.
Oh, sorry. And that's just such a powerful video, and the environment is just our most precious resource, and this is why I wanted to show it to you, because I think biodiversity is really becoming a key focus right now of the industry, fashion industry as well, and they're talking about great things and focusing on great things. So it's great that the conversation has started. And the other thing that is really, really important is the people who make our clothes, the well-being of the people who make our clothes. And so we really need to start thinking about and start acting on different ways of producing our clothing that create economic well-being for everybody. So all of this sounds really big, and it seems that perhaps there's not much that you as an individual can do. But I wrote my book to show you that this is not the case, and that in fact it really is all about the individual, and we have so much power. There's so much we can do. So I've shown that, you know, now more than ever, we really do need to think about our fashion. But what does this actually mean, and how do we actually do it? And I think that's probably a question you're asking at this point. So I've got 5 key things that I want to focus on. They're really kind of the 5 key messages in my book. And the first one is that we need to rethink our own relationship to fashion. It all starts with us. Oh, and this is Katrina McCarter. And she's the perfect person to talk about this. She's the CEO of Marketing with Mums. She's a very dear friend of mine. And she's got some amazing insights into the shift that's happening with people rethinking their relationship to fashion, mothers rethinking their relationship to fashion on an international scale. So I'd love you to hear from Katrina McCarter now. She's such a beautiful, wonderful person.
Hello, my name is Katrina McCarter, and I'm the founder of Marketing to Mums, a marketing and research company that works with businesses and brands to attract more mothers and their families into their business. An enormous congratulations to you, Lalita, on the launch of your fabulous book today. I would love to share some insights and research with you today about how mums in Australia are rethinking their fashion. We are very clearly seeing and have been watching over the last 3 to 4 years that mums are actively looking to declutter and de-stress their lives. And part of that is a yearning to live a more simpler, more meaningful existence. And this is really having an impact on apparel and footwear brands, not just here in Australia, but across the world. Actively, I certainly noticed a couple of years ago, there was a big drive in online closed Facebook groups for mothers to challenge each other not to make a purchase of any clothing over a 1-year period. This was something that spread actually throughout the world, and we really saw that take place in 2018. This has now grown quite significantly, and we are seeing our mothers being particularly mindful of their decisions towards apparel since COVID has hit. And Marketing to Mums undertook a research project in May and June of this year of more than 1,300 millennial mums, and it became incredibly evident to me that the sustainability and minimalism trend was significantly accelerated through this period as mums were looking to live more simpler lives. And how this is playing out, we are seeing the introduction of rental businesses. A lot of mothers are actively choosing to rent their clothes, and so that they are reused by many, many people, and it saves them from actually going out and making purchases of products that perhaps they don't really need. We are also seeing really conscious mindful decision making is what I would call it, and people are looking for better quality of product and purchasing less. So these are all very positive moves here in Australia. Certainly overseas, we've seen the introduction of brands such as Allbirds and Everlane that are very much geared towards catering for the sustainability and minimalism trend. Everlane is a store in New York in Prince Street that I see every year, and there is always a queue to about 100 metres of people queuing, just waiting to just get into the store, and they lead with radical transparency. So I guess I wanted to say that there is great developments. This is very much an accelerating trend of mothers looking for more conscious decision making when it comes to their fashion. Thank you.
So beautiful from Katrina, and has been really great hearing her insights. She's been sharing them with me a lot over the last couple of years, and it's just so great to see people being more conscious about their fashion and really wanting to choose well. So rethinking our relationship with fashion means that, you know, it's rethinking how we view ourselves, because how we view ourselves reflects on our actions. And that means, you know, how we perceive our bodies, because we all have such a, you know, kind of multifaceted relationship with our bodies and with our size and what's projected out there in the media, all those things. And I think, you know, a big part of making better choices comes from, you know, accepting ourselves more and how we view ourselves. And I think we also, you know, we need to rethink what value is, what we're prepared to pay for a garment, how much we view the value of clothing or not. And I think that if we review our values, then we make better choices. We understand, you know, how our choices affect what we buy. So the second thing that I want to share with you is something that I'm also really passionate about, which I speak a lot about in the book, and that is quality over quantity. And I'm sure you've heard this term a lot. You know, people use it for many different things, and in fashion it really especially applies. And I have asked a dear friend of mine, Kate Chalice. She is the master of immersive, evocative spaces. And her and I have a real affinity for beauty and for things that are made well and made to last. And so she's going to share with you now what her insight. She read the book over the last week in advance of this and wants to share with you.
Lalita, congratulations on the publication of your book. It's a momentous achievement. My name's Kate Chalice, and I'm the director of Kate Chalice Interiors, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Lalita for several years now. We very much bonded over our mutual love for beauty and style, and also understanding that these things do not come at the cost of the planet. I had the pleasure of reading Lalita's book just over the last week, and it was a really interesting experience for me because in many ways what Lalita's advocating sort of reminded me of how my grandmother used to purchase her fashion. She was a very, very stylish woman, and when she was studying at London University in the 1930s, her father would give her a clothing allowance, and every year she would buy one or two things, very, very high quality, beautifully made out of gorgeous fabrics, and she wore them all throughout her entire life. So every year she'd buy one or two more pieces, and over the period of her life she ended up amassing this really beautiful wardrobe. And what I loved was she was one of the most stylish women I knew, and her style was fashionable not in the way we interpret it today. It was fashionable in terms that it was timeless and beautiful, and it was full of quality. And what Lalita's book is really challenging us is to rethink how we view our consumption of clothing, that we can actually look fabulous, as Lalita always does, and also do the right thing for the planet. The two things are not mutually exclusive. So I really, really encourage you to read the book, enjoy it, and Lalita, congratulations. Just incredibly proud of you, and it's an absolutely must read.
That's just the sweetest. Thank you so much, Kate. And it's interesting, you know, because I studied fashion design, and I studied it here in Australia at RMIT, and studied in Paris fashion design. And the thing that I really got out of that was understanding what it really takes to create a quality garment. And I think once you understand that, the difference that the fit of a garment can make to its longevity, to how it feels on your body, to how much confidence it gives you, how much quality construction, fabrics, and just the overall performance of a garment make to how you feel and how long they last. So yeah, and that's what I do with my clients. I share those insights because I think that's what helps us make better choices with our fashion. And you know, this focus on quality over quantity is about durability. It's about how long our clothes will last. And as Kate said, you know, my focus is keeping them in the wardrobe for as long as possible. And this focus on quality is also about buying clothes that we plan to keep forever. You know, building on that, building our own amazing, wonderful, curated collection of clothing. So my third insight tip, sharing from the book, is to keep our garments in use longer. And this is a really big conversation in the fashion industry about the future of fashion, because what we want to do is have a bigger picture around the clothes that we have, and rather than thinking always about buying a new item, is how can we get maximum use out of the clothing that we already have. And this means buying clothing or having clothing that will be worn and worn again and loved, all the, you know, just loving it every time we wear it. And if something happens to it, knowing how to get it repaired, know how to get it altered so that maybe we give it a new look, so that it can be updated in the way that, you know, the style that it has. Learning how to maximize the use of a tailor and getting alterations so that our clothing really does fit us properly, and then we will wear it more and keep it in our wardrobe more often. And it's all about taking care of our clothes, how we store them, how we look after them. All of these things keep the clothes in our own wardrobe in use for longer. And then any new clothing that we add is really just a magnificent addition rather than just buying clothing for the sake of it. And actually, this is a website that I have coming soon. It's called curatorial.global. And I am setting up a website of vintage pieces, curated vintage pieces that I find. And this is very much a part of keeping clothing in use longer, is the resale and vintage market. And so stay tuned for that. It'll be launching really, really soon. And it's something I'm passionate about because I bought many vintage items when I've known what I'm looking for, high quality, of course, from designers that I know that will fit me. And this is what I want to share with each of you. So that's coming very soon, very exciting. So I've also called in some of my beautiful friends to share some photos of their favorite vintage pieces. And I know Nat is online today. Nat is the gorgeous woman with the book in her hand there. And she received it in advance so that we could have some pictures with the book, which is kind of fun. And this is one of her favorite pieces in her wardrobe. She wears it all the time. She's had it for many, many years. And it's just always stayed relevant. So that's what she's wearing there. And then there's another gorgeous, wonderful girlfriend of mine from New York. Hi, Vanessa. And this is a piece of her aunt's. Now, her aunt was a model many, many years ago, a really successful model. She's got some amazing pieces in her wardrobe. And I saw Vanessa wearing this piece, this garment, this piece of clothing. And it's just so timeless, so gorgeous on her. And it's from a designer from, I don't know, the 80s or the 70s. And it's just always being worn. It stays in the wardrobe and it remains relevant. And that's what when I saw Vanessa in this dress, I was like, that is so her, gorgeous. So who else have we got? We've got Jen, who's also online with us today. And Jen has got the book in her hands there too. And Jen and I connected over our love of vintage clothing. And Jen is wearing a favorite piece of hers that she's had for many, many years, and she wears a lot. And I asked her to pull something out in particular that came to mind when we spoke about vintage clothing and sharing it with you guys today. And also Brett Lilly, who was my book accountability coach, helping me keep on target with my book. He's a great friend. And he shared this vest of his, and he's known as the Cairo who wears a waistcoat in Italy, because whenever he goes there, he wears this waistcoat, and he's been wearing it for quite a while now. And this is one of his favorite vintage pieces in his wardrobe. So thank you to each of you for sharing your photos. It's so great. So the next tip from my book is increase our knowledge. And what this means is to really be understanding what fashion brands out there are doing in terms of sustainability and transparency, and how they are changing their business models to really be more mindful of the planet and people who make the clothes. It means understanding what questions to ask these brands to be able to find out the information for ourselves. We need to be getting on board and really taking part in this and increasing our knowledge. Our knowledge also includes knowing how to spot a quality garment when we're in store, being really considered, as Katrina McCarter spoke about, with our clothing, and choosing the right clothing. What else? Understanding the key rating systems of ethical clothes, organic clothes, the labels that denote quality, all of these kind of labeling systems, and there's quite a lot out there. So I'm going to be sharing more information on my website, so you can kind of come to understand that more. And to also be understanding the improvements that are taking place in the industry, because there's so much innovation happening in terms of fabrics that are sourced sustainably, fabrics that are sourced from things that we wouldn't have thought of, like banana palms and pineapples and seaweed, incredible fabrics that just look and feel amazing that you wouldn't have thought of. And they're really great alternatives for the future. So that's that one. And what this means is that we really need to be asking better questions. And I've got an example for you that I thought would be good. I talk about this in my book. This is a Melbourne brand called Arnsdorf, and they make it very obvious on their website that they are committed to transparency and sustainability. They tell you all about the people who work for them. They do everything on the premises, including making the clothes. And here, as you can see, I'm scrolling down, and you can see they tell you exactly who made the garment. And then they tell you the cost that goes into making the garment. And this is something that's happening more and more with fashion brands. And these are the kind of things that we can look for whenever we buy a new garment. I reached out to Jade Sarita Arnott from, she's the director of this brand. And she really wanted to share her thoughts about rethinking fashion. And this is what she said. She sent it in an email. And she said that it's wonderful to see these conversations and discussions being had about rethinking fashion. It is a crucial time in the history of the planet to be focusing on sustainability and regenerating the earth. The time is now to put people and the planet at the forefront of the decisions we make around design, manufacturing, and consuming fashion. Fashion has the ability to be transformative, but this can only happen if it has had a positive impact on everyone and each resource involved in its creation in the supply chain. And such a really powerful statement, isn't it? It's just, there's a lot contained in there. When I share with the recording later on, you can read over it again if you would like to. And so the great thing about Arnsdorf is that they are a B Corp brand, and this is a new kind of key indicator of a really ethical and transparent and sustainable brand. And what B Corp is, that it's high governance of a brand, and it shows you that it's a company that is about balancing purpose and profit, so that their business is not only about profit, but it's about giving back and making a difference in the world, to be fashion as a force for good. So it's a really fantastic certification and something to look out for. So the fifth point is one of my favorites. It is, just because it's sustainable does not mean that it can't be beautiful. And I think, we oftentimes we've had a thought that sustainable clothing meant, shapeless Hessian garments or hemp garments, or, just earth colors and not much to them. However, that's just evolved so much now, and sustainability is really all about the whole foundation of a business. Sustainability is really the future of fashion, and it doesn't affect the quality of a design. It's about the foundation and strategy of the business, and it's the only way forward. And I'm so passionate about this. And this is Stella McCartney.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a fashion designer. I studied to be a fashion designer, and I believe in luxury. I believe in beauty. I believe in desirability. I think there is this kind of thought process when it comes to sustainable fashion that you're sacrificing all of those things in order to be more responsible in the way that you purchase, and the product itself will be compromised. And so I completely challenge that. I really believe that I can make as beautiful, if not more beautiful, products, but not in a way that is harmful to the planet. So it's doable. I think I'm creating great things, and women want to wear my clothes. They want the pieces, they want the product. And so why doesn't every other house do that? Why don't they open their minds and push themselves? You know, I think every industry has to be pushed. It has to be answerable to how it's manufacturing, how it's producing a product. And the fashion industry is no different from any other.
So Stella McCartney is, a lot of you may be aware, but Stella McCartney is really one of the leaders in sustainability in fashion. And she's just been a champion for really pushing, as she said, pushing the industry norms and thinking about the future. So that's a lot of information. And I thought we should do a recap. So my 5 key points are: we need to rethink our relationship to our fashion, which means our values around fashion, our views about size and beauty, and how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about the clothing we buy, and how we feel in the clothing we buy. Quality over quantity, big favorite of mine, choosing clothing that is going to last a long time, that is really going to fit you well and feel amazing. Keeping our garments in use for longer, so reuse, rewear, resale, vintage, all of those wonderful things. Increasing our knowledge, knowing how to ask brands about their practices, about what they're committed to, knowing how to spot quality. And the 5th one is, just because it's sustainable does not mean it can't be beautiful. And on that 5th topic, I just wanted to say that there's some really incredible designers, and I can share them with you, and I'll do that in the coming months, who are really doing some amazing work in really true quality clothing. Stella McCartney, Gabriella Hurst, she's a incredible designer. Arnsdorf, as I shared with you. There's just so many. And so I think when you think about sustainability, really just know that there's a lot of beautiful clothing out there. So I've got a challenge for you now. And my challenge is to ask yourself, how can you rethink your fashion based on our conversation today? So after the launch is finished and you're going through your day, just contemplate, you know, all of those points that we spoke about. And if there's one that stood out in particular, how can you take that on board? What does that mean to you? What resonated with you the most, and how would you like to embrace that? And so I really do hope that this helps you realize just how much power you have when it comes to making change and creating a better future. The tagline of my book is creating a better future. And, you know, I am so, I adore so much the work of all the incredible designers in the fashion industry, and I am part of the fashion industry and I support the fashion industry. So this book is really about the change that we can all make, coming together, a collaborative effort to really make a shift and protect the well-being of our planet and really care about the people who make our clothes. So it's about a better future overall. And this is, I recently connected with Lisa Barron. She's an Australian fashion designer, and we really connected on the views of quality, on being committed to quality, and also local production. And I think this is a very big part of sustainability in the future of fashion, is you know, reducing carbon emissions by shopping locally, by supporting our local economies. And Lisa Barron is a real icon in the fashion industry here in Australia. She's been around for a long time and had a successful business over many, many years. And that's not an easy thing to do. Fashion is a really kind of fickle industry. And it is because of her commitment to quality, and her clients really are loyal. She cares about her clients. She wants to look after them and give them really beautiful clothing. So I raced over to her boutique the other week with a mask on, of course, and gave her the book. And she was so excited, and she recorded this video for me to share with each of you. So let's listen to Lisa.
Congratulations, Lalita, on the launch of your book, It's Time to Rethink Your Fashion. The timing couldn't be more perfect than where we are in our world right now. Clothing always has and always will play a part in our self-expression. It's what we place importance on that shows a little more about ourselves. Your book touches upon some areas that I have been very passionate about for many years. Locally made, high quality garments. They make us feel great. They help us reduce landfill, not to mention the suffering that goes into many of the clothes that are hanging on the racks all around the world. I just hope that everybody that wears clothes will read your book. Congratulations again.
Such beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you so much, Lisa. So there we are, the launch of my book. It's just been such an amazing thing to work on this book, and I'm so glad now that it's available for each of you to read. It's available globally on Amazon and Amazon France, Amazon USA, Amazon Italia, Amazon everywhere, and also in local bookstores, some local bookstores, places like Booktopia. And if you purchase it from my website, it has a special, it's a special printed edition. It has a beautiful pink color on the inside of the cover. And that doesn't happen through the Amazon site, but it's all about accessibility as well. So especially if you're international. So there we go, my book. Thank you, each of you, for coming along. And you may be wondering, you know, how you can rethink your fashion and really explore that, and of ways that you can work with me. So these are all the different things that I do. I offer a discovery session. I do wardrobe reviews. I'm releasing a Rethink Your Fashion course in a week's time. And I'll give you the details of that in the email after this. I do a fashion strategy to really have a long-term view on fashion and choosing the perfect pieces, and a 3-month and a 6-month fashion curation program, and of course the curatorial.global, which will be coming along really soon. So they're all of the ways that we can work together. And this is my website, where you can find all of that information. And I've been so busy with the launch that we're still putting together the packages for the website. So you'll see them all there very soon. And now I was just wondering, is there any questions that you have about this, about fashion, about sustainability, about the book? I am totally open. I'd love to hear from you. So I'm just looking here in the chat box. Oh, Gail said, pink is my favorite color. Really looking forward to it. That's so great. Oh, thank you, Darren. That's really sweet. Congratulations, Lalita. Wonderful milestone. Jude. Oh, lovely to hear from you. And thank you. Yes, it's a really important message at this time. Thanks, Kate. Kate says, brilliant. Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, we've finished a little early. Oh, Anna. So Anna was, we worked on the book together, and as part of Publish Central, she said, congratulations. We've been so happy to have been involved in this important book. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And now we can catch up and have a glass of champagne together in person, inside even. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to have a look. I think I've got a question somewhere. Oh, Natalie said, my biggest takeaway is to do more research into brands that are genuinely sustainable, ethical, and conscious in production. Thank you so much for sharing your passion so generously. You're a special person. Oh, thank you. Oh, beautiful. Sharon said, we can all do small things with great love, and together we can do something wonderful. Mother Teresa. It's so true. It's so true. And I think, it's a one-to-one basis. And if we think locally, then we can be driven by so much. Chris, so many wonderful insights. Thanks, Lalita. Have a fantastic celebration. Tina from RMIT was one of my wonderful teachers at RMIT. Congratulations, Lalita. Let's see. Oh, Kate Christie, how much should I How much should I spend on a sustainable lifetime piece? You know what? I think it's relative to the garment. And I think one concept that we can have in our minds is that a price does denote quality. And oftentimes, we do need to pay a little bit more for a garment, or be willing to invest in the pieces that we buy. But it's more about being able to spot the quality and understand the construction of a garment, and understand whether it's going to last us a long time, as opposed to actually what the price should be. Because you can buy a cotton t-shirt, for example. I think a cotton t-shirt is a really great way to use as a standard. It's kind of like when, anyway, I was going to say something. So cotton t-shirt, if you put 5 cotton t-shirts up together, how do you tell what the difference of the quality is? And sometimes you can spend $150 on a t-shirt, an organic cotton t-shirt, and it will last you 2 wears, because the organic cotton was not, it's not a quality fiber, and it will get holes in it. The t-shirt gets holes in it, which has happened to me. So it's better off to buy a really quality cotton t-shirt that will last you longer, and it will cost a bit less than the organic cotton t-shirt. So you need to weigh up what what's in front of you, what you have at hand. And I think that's the thing about this sustainable question is, sometimes you have to make a choice between what's on offer. It's not always just about, the most ethical, most sustainable. Rahul Mishra is an Indian fashion designer, and he employs lots of artisans. He's really such an incredibly talented designer. And he said that recently. He said that, if you had to choose between cotton that was produced locally or organic cotton that was made overseas, sometimes you would choose the local produced cotton, even though it was conventional and may have been used with chemicals, because it was close to home and there was less carbon emissions. So there's lots of things to take into consideration. Cost is an interesting topic. I hope that answered your question, Kate. Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Jude, there are so many fabrics now. What are some of the most sustainable? So I always say that natural is best. I think they last longer. You need to know how to spot a quality natural fiber, like I just spoke about with Kate's question. There's so many like sustainable, they say, recycled polyester clothing. And I'm not really a supporter of any unnatural fabrics like that, which are made from petroleum, because they release little microplastics into the ocean and end up in our food chain. But sometimes there's a use for them. And I guess the thing about recycled polyester is made from recycled plastic bottles, is that at least we're using that waste that may have ended up in the ocean anyway, or, is building up in landfill. So I agree with you, Jude. There's so many fabrics. And I think there's one really great fabric, which is called Tencel. And that is made from, it's made from eucalyptus, and it's grown on land that is no longer deemed for use, that it's been so farmed, so used. Eucalyptus can grow pretty much anywhere. And so Tencel takes least amount of effort and energy to produce, and it's a really, really great fabric, and it's really soft. It's not for all uses. You won't find it in all garments, but it is great for kind of general day wear. So that's something to look out for, and happy to talk with you more about that too, if you just want to shoot me some questions or something. Did that help, Jude? I hope so. What else? Aneta, thank you, Lalita, for this wonderful presentation. Oh, good. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jude. Thank you, Lalita, for this presentation and for writing this very important book. With a bit of consciousness and knowledge, we can make fashion a win-win. Yep, it's all about a win-win. I mean, we love fashion, right? We're not going to stop buying or wearing clothing. We want to look fantastic, and we want it to be done in a way that has least impact on the environment. Oh, Jennifer said, I can see your book on Amazon now. How exciting. Oh my gosh, I love that it's on Amazon. It's so much fun. Who else? I think that's all for questions. Oh, Jennifer will say congratulations. Rob, thank you, Rob. Thanks for the congratulations. Great to have you here. Okay, so I think that's wrapping it up. Wow. It's so great to have launched this book and to have it available now. And now I can focus on really offering some wonderful pieces of content for you to gain more knowledge from my website, and to release the Rethink Your Fashion course. So have a beautiful day, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along. And I'll see you very soon. Talk with you very soon.